Hi, AfterBuzzers. You're watching the AfterBuzz TV After Show for Containment Season 1, Episode 6, He Stilled the Rising Tumult. Join us and special guest Mykel, Shannon, Jenkins as we break down the episode and give you our thoughts and predictions. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Just pumping me.
Right.
Yeah. Got some Drake here. I'm your host, Katie Campbell, and you can find me on Twitter at KDE Campbell. That's Katie with 3 E's Campbell. And joining me tonight, I have amazing people in studio with me. To my left, Gabriel Gonzalez.
Hey guys, you can find me on Twitter at Double G on TV.
And across the table, Yvette Sanchez.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Sports and Sass, same with Instagram.
And Tiana Hobson.
Hello, everyone. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Tiana Hobson.
And joining us tonight is our very special guest, Mykel, Shannon, Jenkins.
What's happening? Good to be here. You can also find me on Twitter with Mykel _Jenkins.
Amazing. I love it. We're really excited for you to join us tonight.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here. Very excited.
Trey's been up to some stuff, so we gotta talk about it. Yeah.
He's a beast.
He's a little naughty.
He gets it done.
I think he's on Santa's naughty list. He's getting coal for Christmas.
What's crazy, guys, you don't understand. You just watched Trey just be evil, and we have Mykel right here, and he's like the nicest guy. It's crazy.
Don't spoil it.
I wouldn't say be evil. He was just getting it done.
Thank you, sister.
Getting it
See,
done.
you recognize
he was getting it done.
Yeah.
He's doing what needs to be done.
His hustle game is,
exactly.
on point.
That's true.
The hustle game is tight.
All right,
Before we get into tonight's episode, though, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in every week. And if you are not already subscribed to us on YouTube, please do so. That is youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. You can also find us on iTunes and SoundCloud. Give us that 5-star thumbs up, leave a comment, and tweet us using the hashtag ABTVContainment because we want to know what you guys are thinking about the show. So let's jump into this episode so we can talk about Trey and about all things episode 6. How are you guys feeling so far?
Well, I did say there was going to be a kiss on the episode. I mean, it wasn't between Jake and Kate, but, there was a cute little kiss.
I'm still... Every week they find a way to draw me in deeper and to have me on the edge of my seat and be like, what? I mean, I think that's what I literally exclaimed at the end of the episode.
Oh, yeah, at the end of that episode, we were like, what?
Like, I was screaming at the TV, because I'm so involved in it. So, good job.
Yeah, you know what I really like about this episode is they're really exploring more of what this real world situation would be like and that trying to get back to normal even when you can't. So I thought that was an interesting twist, just the way they started it. And it's like, how often do we actually try to get back to normal after a big deal,
Well, is it trying to get back to normal or is it just trying to forget about it?
I guess you could say both. I guess for me, when I watch it, I think like when they started playing Yankee games again in New York after 9/11, and that was supposed to be a big moment. So as a sports guy, that's what I was kind of going back to.
I can see that.
But I do agree. It's like, maybe they just invited
this
it.
is a little bit different.
Yeah. I think Lammers told the president, you need to get that baseball team back there to distract the people.
I think they're maybe trying to get people's hopes high or trying to, make the people feel happy again with a little bit of a distraction because there is something serious going on and I don't know.
Just sucks for the people inside because they can't go to the baseball game.
Yeah, they can't even watch it. That's just a crime.
It's like, hey, go get distracted by this baseball game while 4,000 other people are inside watching their fathers die and they're 9 years old. So
and that stadium has a great bar. I'm just saying.
I know. How are you feeling about the episode or, how the season's going so far? I know you mentioned you're watching them live.
I'm processing. It's a beautiful thing because I'm processing it all. Mm-hmm. And it's I'm really, really excited about the show because I like things that affect me. Mm-hmm. I want it to be as real as possible for me. And normally, because I try so hard to not go Armageddon on nobody, these movies, when you get in a situation like this, it doesn't really draw me. Yeah. But they have done a really nice job of keeping it real relatable. you know, and honest. And, you know, for me, it was important that Trey was seen as an opportunist, like a guy that everybody has bumped into. You know, situations go down. You either got people that will lay back and hope things get better, and then you got people that like seize the opportunity. And being from New Orleans and watching Katrina and watching some cats came up. Like, people talk about the devastation, but I know folks that came up. You know what I mean? It was an opportunity. So I kind of saw Trey as an opportunist, and I'm watching him. When you're in that kind of situation, opportunities take care of business. Like, it's a moment to moment type thing, no matter what it costs them.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see, and hopefully as things go on, more dynamics, more you'll get to understand a little bit more about what motivates this beast of a man.
I definitely feel like there's something else there. I feel like Trey deep down is a good man. You know, he's got this whole, he's saying the capitalism thing, and, you know, he's got, you know, an opportunist kind of view on the things, but he said he has a kid, so he understands that. So I feel like there's a little bit more of understanding thing going on.
I think, you know, I never thought he was a bad man.
Yeah.
I think from the get-go, I was like, I like this guy because you just see that he's hungry, that there's something worth fighting for, where some people in this situation would totally, like, just give up and, like, there's nothing we could do. Let's just pay attention to what they tell us. Let's do what they do. Like, he's taking actions by any means necessary. Like, he's not messing around. He knows what he needs to do in order to survive, but he just isn't going to go by their rules. He's going to go by his rules. And I kind of like that. I like, he's taking initiative. He's, you know, going to do what he has to do. Like you said, he has a kid, so he's hungry. He's fighting for something.
Yeah.
You know? So I see that.
My friend used to say, when things got crazy, you say all the time, some of us ain't going to make it. Some of us ain't going to make it, but guess what?
You're gonna make sure
it's
you're the one
gonna
that
be.
does.
It ain't gonna be the kid. Like, you better throw something on me, cause I'm gonna get it. If it's out there to be gotten, Trey gonna get it. Please believe.
Yeah.
All right.
So
speaking of Trey and then the whole storyline in this episode with Teresa and Xander and the mom, you know, where did the food go? Are people coming in and buying that food? Because I felt like there was a lot more food before, or is that just we're not seeing it all?
yeah, it's a little bit of both. We're selling it,
he-
and it hasn't all been unstocked. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Because we just hit the trucks, so there's boxes on the side,
Okay.
but people are coming in and buying it.
Okay.
He's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
See,
Entrepreneur trying to get a benefit out
I
of it.
gotta come up, you know.
He's
However,
making, it's all profit at this point for him.
exactly. When it all ends, I'm getting some stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now,
Legal way.
Here's the question though I had. So what I like about Trey is that he's a very smart villain. You know, he's very bad, but he ain't stupid.
Right.
Now, here's my big question. No, my big question for you. He's making a lot of money. He's running the Cordon with fear. If there's nothing to buy inside, though, what's the point of having the money?
Well, Trey understands.
Okay.
The government is going to settle the situation. See, I'm a big world thinker.
Right.
So after the situation's been settled, I'm going to be on top of the game. It's kind of like insurance when people pass away.
Right.
All right.
You just know that million, like kind of how Donald Trump came up. You just know when your daddy die, you might want to throw something in the coffee to speed that process up so you can start off
You
with a bang.
gotta put something away for the rainy day.
You got to put it
Okay.
away.
And you gotta start. You gotta start.
I'm just
There it
asking,
is.
it's like, you know what? They're all about money. I thought they just ruled it's like, you know,
Oh,
there's
no.
nothing to spend it on.
That's
They're
short
all locked
term.
in.
You think it's short term, brother.
Okay,
you know,
That's even
big
better.
picture.
Nothing to
Hey,
spend it on. You got more, and what do you do?
You
Yeah,
know,
he's a-
hey, America, look at that man. Look at me. Do I look like I'm made to be a villain on network television? No.
And you never know. Maybe presented the right situation, you might be.
Yeah.
That's
Never know.
exactly
Hey,
it.
so in other words, you think I could be part of the crew in season 2?
No.
Well, that's what you willing to do.
Straight up, I was like,
What you
no.
willing to do?
you know what? Hey, give me my opportunity, and you know
How
what?
dirty
I'll
are
make
you
some
willing to
things
get?
happen.
How low are you willing to go?
You know
Yeah,
what?
well-
Where I need to.
Oh, okay.
We do have another person joining the crew, and it's the old Fourth Lords.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have another person joining, and this is Doug. What is his last name? Meese. Doug Meese. Okay, so Meese. He comes in, and he wants to join, and his whole thing is that he's got this phone from the chief that's the only line out to the outside the Cordon. Yeah. But what is he trying to do here? What is the chief's plan?
There's so much going on there that I just can't figure it out yet, but I just knew that Xander seeing him would somehow register in his mind, like he could tell Jake because he knows he can trust Jake because Lex will find out, and that's how Lex is going to figure out that his boss is actually playing him as well as Lammers.
Oh, I didn't even think that.
I was just like, Xander is like the kid. Everyone knows the kid. And I was like, if he could just get that information to Jake somehow or to Jana and be like, hey, yeah, like a random police officer was like, I'm not a cop anymore, and joined the old Fourth Lords. And then Lex found out that it was his guy who he's taken a big hit for right now because all the guys are pissed off at him because...
How do we know he's not lying?
Yeah.
I mean, he could be, but from what we
Because
saw
when he's like,
last
I'm not a
week...
cop anymore.
I know. I feel
Well,
like.
but you have to say that when you're trying to get a,
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So he could be saying it, which I was surprised that he actually was like, okay, welcome to the club. Like, so like...
Hey, what happened
Wait.
to Opportunistic?
Well, hold up.
I know.
Hold up. I wasn't like, okay, welcome to the club. I was like...
Because you know he has he has something else that he wants to do. That's why he's like, okay. He's like, friends close, enemies closer. I got you.
Absolutely. Because like he said, Trey,
He don't mess around.
like I said to him, why don't I just kill you and take your phone? Because that's the first thing I'm thinking. It's like, you can't offer me some shit I can just have.
Right.
Up in my store with stuff I can have.
Right.
And then he gave me that spiel about how it only works with his mouth on it.
And see, with how smart Trey is, that's why this episode I started questioning. I was like, what is Trey's plan? Because he will not let that poor little pregnant girl go nowhere. And he just keeps eyeing her. I'm like, what is his connection with her or his plan with her? Because instead of just letting them go because there's a sick man, he's like, you know what, I'm just going to go kill my homie because he's going to die anyway. Well, now you have no excuse to leave, so shut up and keep stocking the shelves.
If you think about it, that brought Xander. Xander was with the whole, like the Cordon situation, so it's kind of like she kind of like ties.
But it was even before he
to the
knew
outside too.
Xander was coming.
See, for me,
I knew the shooting was coming. I knew it of JoJo. I was expecting it because
I loved that.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but it was in a trailer teasing this week's episode, and it sucked because that was the.
I don't remember that.
So you knew it was coming?
Yeah,
I did.
Because what are we gonna do with this sick guy who's obviously dying? He's gonna get other people sick. Like the logic of what Xander, said to Trey in that moment, Trey knew that was true. So, you know what? Even though you might have had a close personal relationship with JoJo, you just had to do what had to be done.
Put him out of his misery.
Yeah.
That was a good friend right there.
I think that's a good friend.
You know what? Now, see, I hate that they put that as the teaser for this week's episode because that was honestly probably your best moment so far on the series, from what we've seen there. And it's like, I'm sitting right next to you watching it, and it's like, I wish I didn't know that he was about to do it that clean because it was so good.
How did you know? And none of us were like totally like.
I mean, I remember the gunshot.
I remember a gunshot, but I don't.
It didn't say who it was.
Yeah.
I know it's. No, because when they show the gunshot, like it fades to black, and then you come back with Trey being the badass over here, problem solved. So that's what I saw.
Down.
Yeah, so I saw that, and that was.
They leaked it like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I thought, you know what, man, that was such a good moment. I wanted to be surprised with them, but like you said, I thought that it was definitely unexpected. Well, it was definitely expected now that what we know about Trey, but I thought that they were going to use that as Xander's way to bring down the gang. Because I thought, okay, now we have a way to kind of just let that whole machine melt down from the inside. If, hey, Trey doesn't want to, he knows he only has a certain number of bodies. They may be more than the cops, but he doesn't have an infinite number of guys.
Right.
Well, I think that also showed that he's not going to let anything bring, and I think that was also showing like a form of alpha,
Right.
To
That's
Xander.
right.
Like, okay, that's my good friend. He's sick. Yeah. He's not going to get any of us sick. You think I have a problem with? Nope. He goes, does what he has to do, and then leaves. So that's just showing that he's like alpha. He's alpha male. No matter what it is that has to be done, he's going to do it regardless. Like, all emotions aside, it's going to logic, not emotion.
I'll give you that, but I do have to point this out because I didn't get to earlier. That exact reason is why I really don't think that Trey is deep down good. I think you're just a little. You know what? Hey, I don't care how
I'm probably
opportunistic.
a horrible person
care
because if
how-
I was in that situation, I would be the same.
I don't give
way.
a damn how opportunistic you are. You can't just be that cold-blooded and go home a nice guy.
But put in the situation where your survival is on the line and
That's
someone's threatening your
let
survival.
him expire in
I
the
might shoot a
storage.
bitch.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'll shoot some. Trust me. If I'm sitting there and you're coughing, I'm gonna be like, "Yo, someone give me the gat. Go, give me the."
that's why I said I'd save Tiana first if we were in the Cordon.
Straight push you down. Well, if you're in a foxhole, what you got to do, homie.
No, hey, here's the thing though. In that situation, I thought, okay, if he is a nice guy, lock him in somewhere. Like, hey,
Why
homie,
would you
go
let
go.
someone
Yeah,
suffer
no, he's
so
gonna
much?
die anyway.
Well, you know what? If he's deep down a nice guy, but he's got it, he doesn't have anything in his heart holding him back
But we
from
do
shooting
say,
his
"Bless
best
me,
friend.
Father, for I have sinned. I am so sorry. I'm putting out of your misery." Bah.
No, because I mean, as humans, we do this to animals all the time. Dogs when they get sick, horses
Yeah,
if they get
That's
injured.
different from a person.
But to people, the dog is their best friend. You said it's his best friend, and I don't see a difference between this because it's like if we're okay to
Yeah.
do it, they're like, and the person was gonna suffer, and
Now
at this
you
point
are.
there's no cure. We're locked in this place. He's gonna get everybody
He's
sick. This is
compassionate.
I don't know.
This is survival of the fittest.
I just
Exactly.
don't know. I just
I'm
don't.
just going to say, yeah. Well, I'm just going to say this. As a human being, I have to have a reason
Okay.
to do almost it doesn't matter what's written. I have to figure out in myself the whole reason. So hopefully by the time it's all said and done and you get a more than a microscopic view of exactly how he is, you'll come back to this and you'll be able to really understand what his motivation was. But it was a little bit of all of it. For me, for Trey, it was just like, in my thinking, it was just like, when there isn't a lot of stuff left, you can either haven't not had any of it. When you have a chance to be in a position of power and you haven't had any power, any real power, and it's right there for you, and you suffered as long a life as he's had on the streets trying to make things happen, it's what won't you do once you have your hands on it or you're this close to it to keep it. It's like, what if he threatens the big picture? Everybody ain't gonna make it.
I like that.
Yeah.
So do I. That was very inspirational right now. My gosh.
I love that our engineer is starting the hashtag become the future.
Yes.
Just for you. And I actually have a Twitter question. Speaking of kind of Trey's evolvement throughout, Trisha on Twitter wanted to ask, what is your favorite episode of the series?
My favorite one's coming.
Hasn't aired yet.
Woo!
I feel like that's the one where we're really going to get to know Trey.
My favorite one's coming. But as up to now, I'm gonna have to watch this one again because it was pretty close to one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But meeting Jake in the courtyard and flat out making it perfectly clear to him who's the new sheriff, that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I like how you mentioned too that that's the first time you actually even met the actor, was in that scene. Keep it true to your character, and I love that.
Yeah, that was when I got to Atlanta, I could tell when I first walked in, everybody was really good, like good-hearted people. And I'm like, this is not working for me. It's not. So I'm in the trailer, and we're getting ready to go to set, and I look out, and I see him in the blues. He's the police, and I'm thinking, I don't really want to even talk to that dude. I don't even want to deal with that dude. So I went back in the trailer, and they took him in another truck because it's difficult. You know what I mean? He's the police. I don't want to meet the dude and be friends and then act like I can just click that off. So the first time, it was nice. First time we ever danced, we looked at each other from around the way, and I was just like, and he realized I had heat, and he realized I realized he had heat, and we just didn't talk to each other. And I was like, that's right.
I wish I would have been there for this.
We're not talking, homie. Don't worry. We about to talk right now.
Oh, I wish I would have been there for that. That's awesome.
That was like the first time we ever exchanged words was, when we exchanged the goods.
And speaking, sorry.
No, keep it real. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of coming on to set, you came in. Your characters introduced a couple episodes into it, so everyone kind of already has on set, like a little bond. So what was it like walking onto set and kind of being thrown into the mix of people who are already working together, and now here you come causing trouble?
Well, what I loved about it was basically Trey don't need none of them. I got with my boy JoJo. I got with my boys. And called them and was like, let's hook up. So we all hooked up. I got with them before we got to the set. And then I was like, we just gonna take it over. Like, just take it over. I hope none of them, but then they got on the set and started befriending everybody. And I was like, what you doing? Come here, dude.
You're your loyalty part.
We just talk about this.
Oh.
So we just grouped up and was like, it's us against them from here on out.
Well, that's
and
why
we're gonna let the story into play.
He was alpha.
I gotta say this, man. One of the things that I love about your performance is that physicality just comes through so well on that screen.
It does.
And
here.
Yeah, you guys don't realize he's like staring me down when he says all these things like Trey's an opportunist. He's like right here,
He wants to make you feel. He wants to get into your soul. He wants to be like in your soul. He's like, you feel me? Yes.
It's like, I'm in. Let's take him down.
So you ready to
Officer
join
Jake,
what?
I'm looking for you. No, I'm just kidding.
You join?
He's like, I
love it.
join. I'm all over here
love
like,
it. I love it. What do you? My question: what do you channel to just you seem like a nice guy, but in all honesty, what do you just channel to just bring that ferocity in for those kinds of scenes when you're facing off with Officer Jake or all of the just cold-blooded actions that Trey has to do?
It's gonna. I got a beautiful little girl and a boy, and I think about people trying to take from them, and what I'm willing to do to stop that from happening.
Wow. There you go.
So I loved it when they were like, he has 2 kids. I'm like, you're right, I do. So that's real.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go nowhere for that.
Right.
And here we are in this situation. If my little ones was outside that fence, and I'm inside here, and I don't know what's going on with them, I'm not coming out like I came in. I'm coming out big. Mm-hmm. If they ain't gonna see Daddy for a couple of weeks, I'm coming home with gifts.
There you go.
That's what I feel like I see with Trey. It's like there's something good underneath there. He's doing this from the best place in his heart.
Yeah, that's why I said he has like a motivation. Yeah. He has something to fight for.
Yeah, I want to know what
question.
Trey is gonna do when we find out when he finds out about the escape plan with Xander and Teresa and the mom, because we have this whole plan, which surprised me with the mom, because the mom's been annoying me this whole time.
Right?
She's not very nice to her daughter usually, but at the end of the day, she still is a mom. She cares about her and she wants to get her out of there, so she creates this distraction plan, and Xander and Teresa run off to bit scan data recovery.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting to see the end and what will happen next week, because, we see them with the gun to Teresa's mom's head, like, let us in or she dies. And it's one of those things where I was kind of waiting for her mom to give Teresa a signal of, like, let them kill me. Like, don't.
Well, did the mom put the phone in the bag?
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to think.
Yeah.
Did she put it?
She
There?
She said she
maybe-
gathered as many supplies as she could, and so
Yep.
that was one of the
But
things.
why did she do that? Because that's going to obviously send everybody after
Or
them.
call for help.
Call for help, like in case her daughter goes into labor as they're running. Like I think as a mom, she's
Yeah.
just trying to make sure her daughter has anything that she needs, and
Okay.
you know,
Because remember also, they not just TV or an internet, they don't have phones. They can't call for help, and you know,
Right.
there's already very few. My question, how does Trey let that happen?
That wow.
How does
But
that
does
little
he
old
let
lady
it
get the
happen?
See
phone?
my man's with the gun to her head.
That's my
did you
thing.
see
Did
my
he
man's
let
with
it
the gun
happen?
to her
Yeah.
head?
Yeah.
Or
The smart villain, he took his eyes off the prize.
No.
I don't
he
know if
didn't-
my eyes was off the prize.
he didn't let it
It's-
happen. Like he just said, he sends him with
He had a
with his
plan.
dude. He had a plan. I'm sure he probably heard it. He caught on to it. He's like, let them go. I'm gonna get the mom. We're gonna threaten the mom, and then we're gonna go follow them.
Hey,
Yeah.
listen, I don't-
You
I
know,
don't-
I hate to say it, but I think Yvette's more ready to join the gang than I am.
might have to G her out.
I'll tell
Might
you.
have to G her
I'll
out.
tell you. Give me a bandana. Get me my wife beater. We're going.
That's right.
We're going.
she's
And
ready to
look,
stock some
whatever
shelves.
you want.
Let's
you
go.
know what I mean?
Just give me my boots.
Just
I
tell
won't wear
me what
heels.
it is
I
you
won't,
want.
I won't wear heels this time.
I will get it
Look,
for
I
you.
got a couple people.
You
They
know
close.
the people,
Let's talk a little bit about what's going on at the BitScan data.
right?
Oh, those people.
I know. What is up with Tony? You know, Dennis is against it too, but Tony's against letting anybody in, but he was let in. Does he not remember that in the very beginning he was on the outside and they let him in?
Yeah, I think that you quickly forget those kind of things when it's your life now. And I mean, to be fair, Janet is kind of opening the door to a lot of people now, but because I know them, quote unquote, as the audience member, I'm like,
Yeah.
of course you have to let the pregnant girl in and Xander, like they're innocent. They're gonna help you. But to people who are in there, it's like, well, we don't know what these people have. We don't know if they're going to hurt us. We don't know if people are chasing after them and might come with guns to retrieve them. You know, it's putting his life in danger. So I understand where he's coming from to be, you know, overly cautious to be letting everyone in. But as an audience viewer, he's annoying the crap out of me because he won't let my favorite people in the office.
Yeah, and the whole Jana opening and letting people in is kind of making her character grow in a way because she talks a little bit about it tonight, how she, you know, doesn't let people in general, including her boyfriend. She's having a hard time with that and moving in with him and stuff. So I think her character's growing throughout these episodes, and I really, really love Sam. I think he's a great character.
Oh, see, tonight
Yeah.
Sam kind of scared me.
No, but they were doing that to mess with you.
He was just, you know, acting all weird, and you know they were alone, and he's got the bat, and he's talking about, you know, I don't forget what he was talking about, but it was just something he was
Something
projecting.
that she caught on to,
yeah,
though, 'cause
and you could see she was
questioned
a little
it.
cautious
Yeah.
to get like too close, and
Yeah, but I feel like that was just to shock us because then later on he comes back and he proves how he's a nice guy and he gets to know people. But I guess you're taking
but
it.
I
the
mean,
opposite
he
way.
it sounded like she was a little cautious about his small talk. And
Yes,
how much information
Yeah.
he knew about the guy for only seeing him walk by. And I was like, oh my gosh, is he stalking everyone in here? Does he have like files on everyone?
Well, we
who
were
works
talking
in
about
here?
stalking before we started,
Yeah,
so
I
we know it's
You
possible.
think he killed the guy that was stabbed instead of
We
the
never
guys
saw
that-
those
Oh, that
bikers.
would
We
be
never saw those bikers
awesome.
inside the building. We've only
Oh,
seen
now
Sam.
I'm freaking out.
Just throwing it out there.
That would be
Just
awesome.
throwing it out there.
Hey, you know,
Those bikers were living
I
in the
don't know
garage.
nothing. I have short-term memory. That's what
Like,
Okay,
I know
hey.
nothing. I'm a goldfish.
I know nothing.
I'd like to pose a question, and Mykel, you could get in on this. What do you think would be more satisfying to see Dennis and Tony go by Sam's crowbar or by Trey's gang? Because personally, I really wanted to see Sam throw down that justice, but something about Trey's gang blowing him away is just a little satisfying in that sadistic way.
Well, see him throw down that. Either way, it's gonna be justice.
Exactly.
It's just what depends on. I want to say one thing about Xander,
Okay.
just on a personal level. Xander is a really. I mean, we spent some time together because once we opened up the can and we understood the order of things, I got to. He was really a top-notch cat. I mean, first of all, everybody, Jake, when we finally did, you know.
Talk.
Stop
Yeah.
being who you were acting.
No.
Oh, okay.
it was always what it is. You know what I mean? But as the conversations had to happen, it was really it's really not as normal as you would think. You know, you get in these situations with people and people aren't what you think. You find that out all the time. Yeah. That people aren't. So I like to, just in case they've been on other sets and been in trouble, I like to speak on what I know. And those two cats and Lex too, Sam too. I mean, yeah, man, it was all real stand-up cats trying to get it done the right way without all that extra nonsense that comes with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I want to make that perfectly clear. Just a pleasure to play with, and everything was like, the one thing I loved about it, just to give a little backstory to it, it's like we just worked it all out. Like everything went, nobody was sensitive about it. If you had some huge choice, you didn't have to ask for permission. Not that I was asking for permission, or nobody was, but we would rehearse it a little bit, and I would be like, this could go that way, this could go that way, and every single one of them was like, do what you gotta do, make it happen. And the directors were all like, and that's so crazy because, you know, I've had the directors who are really like, well, let's talk about that word. And then I have those that, I mean, the only thing the directors were asking of me is like, do you have more? And that was as you'll see as things go on, that was wonderful.
Yeah.
Because most of the time they want to keep everything you have in a jar, you know, because Trey is a real problem, and they weren't asking me to soften him up at all. They were just like, I mean, that shocked me. Back to your question about it definitely was today, because when I read that, I was like, now I'm gonna show up on the set and they're gonna butter it up. They're gonna put butter on this roll. Like, they're not just gonna let me do it. They're gonna ask me to humanize it or make me make a different choice. And basically, we did that one take. I walked in the room, bang. I came back out. Sandra understood my perspective, and then they were like, check the gate, and I was like, really?
Oh yeah.
So
gotta be a great feeling.
Yeah.
That
awesome.
was real, really, really. So I really hope that the fans enjoyed the ride enough to want to come back to Disneyland, because it is and is going to continue to get real interesting. And it's nice hearing you guys talk about what you think is going to happen.
Yeah.
Because I think that some of you are Nostradamuses and some of you are so far like, wow, really? That's interesting.
That's hilarious.
Okay, all right.
That's funny.
Well, speaking of how it's going to get more interesting, I loved the whole Leo and Lex team up. I love it. They kind of, and they reversed roles in a way when Lex is saying, look, you wanted to make a change, now I'm the one pushing you, you know, and it was reversed before, and I think that's really cool, and I feel like we're going to get some good, you know, investigative work from the two of them.
Oh yeah.
Spoken like a true journalist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because also, I mean, he just wants to find out. So, and when he said, and I loved when he said that, because I don't know if I got word for word, but when he's like, I'm tired of people fighting harder than me. Because when he said that, I was like, okay. So he notices that he's not fighting that hard. Even though he's fighting for something, he's not fighting half as hard as everyone that's wanting to find something out.
But I respect him at the same time, because he's having a trouble inside dealing with this. I can tell, because he wants to follow the law, and he's, you know, the man of the people, and I don't know. I want to follow the law too. I don't like breaking rules, so I understand where he's coming from with that. But it's interesting how he's going to start breaking the law.
But I think now that he sees that things are a little corrupt and things are a little crooked, he's like, all right, I got to start doing something because I'm not going to play by the rules. I'm not going to be cookie cutter when everyone else is doing something completely different. You know, they put a smile on in front of you and they're doing what they got to do behind your back. When he's being cookie cutter and perfect in front of you and behind you. So now he's like, you want to play dirty? I'm going to play dirtier. You want to screw me? I'll screw you type deal.
It's also interesting because, you know, now he's in a position of power. He's on the police force, so he's got that kind of role. And then on top of that being, you know, a black man in power, he also has a different set of rules of, you know, if he were to go off and do the crazy things that Leo has been doing, he would have been looked at in a much different light. And he's got to be careful of that. And I think it's great that he's teaming up with Leo and saying, I want to fight back even more. And it's kind of to what you were saying, where now he's got to wear like even 5 different masks of, you know, be the person at work who no one knows what he's up to behind the scenes, be the person in front of the cameras for the city. And then at nighttime, he's like Batman going around like solving crimes like a vigilante. You know,
The more you keep your mouth shut and do what you got to do, the better.
Yeah.
So who's really the villain? How is his situation different than mine? Like that dude.
Okay.
I told you he's not a villain. Everyone's got their own way.
I state my opinion and like, look what happens.
Party
it's all
foul.
good. We'll take care of that, bro. It's all good.
Spilling water.
Yeah.
Essential.
Well, we have Lex, he did something which was amazing, which was get a little video clip for Hank, who was tied up in this building, and he didn't want this building to be torn down because this is where he can check on his daughter, which is so sweet and just really. I feel so bad for that whole situation, but I was really scared that she was going to be dead. I'm really happy that they didn't do that to us because we just saw a little girl die last week, and that was really heartbreaking.
I like how everything is centered, though, around a dad.
Yeah.
Or a parent. Almost everything that pulls at your heartstrings on this show is showing how much a parent is willing to do for their child.
Straight up.
Because that man,
these storylines.
it's like, you know, he's chaining himself. He's like, I don't want to leave. And he's not even doing anything for his daughter. He just wants to make sure that she's okay.
Yeah.
He's got 2 kids that he's fighting for. Kate's got her son, who she didn't care, that she ran up to. She gave him a kiss.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like a lot of this. So it's like a lot. And I like that a lot because that isn't something that, you know, that's not something that you would maybe think to find in this storyline of this show.
It humanizes the whole thing because it makes you think, you know, okay, this is a real life situation, kind of, you know, what you were saying, what would you do for your kids in this situation? What are you going to do in the situation? And it takes the human aspect of each person's different and each person has a different breaking point and that thing that's going to push them over the ledge to go off and and walk on that gray line where there is no black and white anymore. It's like everything, the rules are out the game.
Rules are out the window. My child's involved.
Yeah.
What I like about you know, when we talk about that, and I think the show touches on, gets that substance from, is innocence. You know, the innocence of the children, the innocence in people. And, you know, one of the things that gives all these dramatic moments that real power, that makes us, you know, gasp and we're shocked and we don't want things to happen, is how, you know, we talk about it with Trey, you know, just they're willing to cross that line on the show, and they're willing to explore that, you know, nothing's, you know, beyond these people when they're put in these situations. That's not to say Trey is a good man, but that's just...
I totally agree.
Hashtag Team Trey.
That's it right there. Team Trey. All right, your boy.
All right.
I'm going to tell you,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing when life becomes about, when it's really moment to moment. And if you got something like this, people are falling everywhere you turn. It is moment to moment. It is survive this moment. It is eat this moment. It is take this moment. It is win this moment. Because the rest of these moments ain't guaranteed to nobody. I mean, you see what happened to my man Joe. I mean, 20 seconds, I don't even know where he got it. But he got it. Now the question is, we was pretty, like, we weren't 4 to 6 feet away from each other. You gotta be thinking about a lot of things when JoJo get it. You know what I mean? I can't. It's just everything's moment to moment, and that's what I really like about it. It's like one moment the journalist wants to kill himself, and he basically is, in the next moment, just be a series of things and events he didn't know was gonna happen has now put him in a position where he might be able to save lives instead of costing some people their lives just because he played out the moments. You know what I mean? Really like that about the show. It's moment to moment. And they're doing a good job of just trying to hold the moments together until the next moment comes to change the next moment.
Yeah. Speaking of that moment to moment and what you touched upon about Katie and Quentin. And,
That's my favorite topic.
I know. Let's talk a little bit about Katie and Jake and their mission to find Thomas and that whole situation. I love that she went with him. I understand he was trying to protect her, but she was fighting for what she was believing in.
But he was trying to protect her because he loves her. Yes!
I didn't know it took only 9 days because apparently we got to quarantine ourselves.
Well,
Listen,
you know,
for it to happen in 9 days. Because I was like,
I'm looking for a
9 days, and he's
quarantine to join right now.
Let's go. All right, guys. Bye.
There's love at first sight for people. So,
And then there's situations that you're placed in, heightened situations that expedite a relationship and the feelings and emotions because
I tell you,
at this
he
point,
wants to
you're
be
around
called
a lot
daddy.
of death.
He wants to be
you-
called
so-
daddy.
Do you guys think that Katie feels the same way? Or maybe not at the love?
Yeah, because
No.
yes, she does.
well, because didn't she turn to him after they found Quentin and she kissed him and she said, "If you were sick, I'd."
No, she
What?
said
She turned around and said,
Quentin
"If you
was
were
sick."
if
No, she said if.
no,
you,
she said if you were sick, I would kiss you too."
Yes.
So I think she was just.
Or she said if
No,
you were
no,
sick,
you
I'd
guys.
want to be sick too.
No, she was
That's what the
talking about-
subtitle said.
I thought
Well, the
about her
subtitles,
son.
it was about Quentin. If
Yeah.
he were sick, maybe they heard it wrong because she
Maybe
said
they
if
heard
he
it
were
wrong.
sick, I'd want to be sick too, and that just
So-
like warmed my heart because I wouldn't want to watch my child die either.
Right.
No, I mean I wouldn't either, and I
Neither
felt like
would
that's her intention. But then she was looking at him, and I was like, well,
Yeah, I don't
talking
think,
about
I don't,
she said
I don't
about-
think she feels the same way though.
Not
Really?
I think she's getting there, but she's not as ready to jump. And
she's
maybe
got other things on her.
she's
mind.
got other things. You got to realize when someone has a child, their child is always going to come 1st. So I think the last thing on her, I mean, that's in her mind, but in the
behind
scheme of
Quentin.
things, it is behind Quentin, and it's my son's livelihood, my livelihood, and I may be falling in love with this guy.
See, I
Yeah.
personally think when Tiana touched on it, she's got a lot of emotions going. We also know that maybe she uses some stuff to make sure her emotions, she knows how to keep them in check. But in terms of the situation with Jake, I really do think that, she's just around him a lot. She's seeing him with the oiled arms and all that you guys...
I didn't see much of that this
that you
episode.
guys
so I was-
love
He was
to
very
bring
I saw
up.
him with oiled
he was
arms
very
this
covered up
episode.
tonight.
Okay, that
Do they
you guys...
put oil on you guys, or is it just
Like you brought up the oiled arms tonight.
You know what? Hey,
So were you listening?
that you guys like to swoon over behind the scenes when we're not filming the show, guys.
Oh, we didn't.
Well, I'm gonna say
Not
that
today.
love at first sight.
Yeah.
My wife and I it was like that,
Oh wow.
and I think, and I don't know. I'm gonna be. I wouldn't lie to you. This isn't some public relation. I don't know how it's all gonna work out between Kate and Jake. But I can say this: from what I'm seeing, you just know when you know. Now, you do all the rest of that stuff so that you can fill up the pie, but the crust has already been.
Aww.
For real.
But
that
I agree
analogy?
with him when he says, "When you know, you know."
Yeah, oh,
And
I do too.
So this just got really heartful.
I know.
I know. Right? It's like,
We're gonna go back to Thug Nasty. All right, I want to be once
spending
again.
all day listening to
Back to
him
Thomas.
say
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Let's talk about what I thought was a huge moment of the series so far is the fact that Thomas doesn't get sick, or he I don't think he does.
Or he's overly confident. We
And-
don't know
no,
for sure yet.
And I loved his innocence of it when he's like, "Don't worry, guys.
so
I don't
cute.
get sick."
Yeah.
But you know,
See, I
Jake,
saw that and I'm like, oh no,
No,
not
he doesn't
again.
get sick.
No, he
That's
doesn't get
not
sick.
father.
He's seriously like he's been out there.
him and his father and his sister both got sick. He had a man in the hallway sneeze on him. He didn't get sick. This guy just, you know, he gave him the water bottle and the sweat dropped onto his hand. So I guess in the next 48 hours, we'll see if he gets sick this time. But he has had a lot of encounters with this virus and he hasn't been affected by it. So I think that, you know, hopefully we can be on to something here. He's like the prodigal child. He's Jesus. He's baby Jesus.
Yes,
And
baby Jesus. There we go.
As far as the storyline
Sweet
goes,
baby
I feel
Jesus.
like it makes sense for them to find something that's going to give them hope, us hope. Might not go so well or might not go as they planned, but there's got to be some kind of a light of hope mid-season, right?
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
though,
Yeah.
I don't think so because we've touched on a bit more sadly absent Dr. Cannerts, who we're not really sure we can count on
Well-
maybe to come up with a cure, at least in the way we thought before.
He might be the biggest villain that I
Thank
think
you.
there is.
Thank you.
You know,
Except for
no,
episode one,
I,
but
yeah.
I,
Yes.
I
believe
wasn't
me when
with
I
you.
said it.
I
But now.
no, I stand. It's
He's-
gonna be Lammers, the big villain.
No, he's a little sketch. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I'm,
It's the he
at
can't
me.
even
He's
get
always
Kate. All he could get was a rat.
yeah, I'm really scared about the tweakers too, though.
So were those tweakers the same ones who went to the baseball field and were
Yeah.
harassing Jake
assuming.
and Katie?
Yeah.
Is that what that was the
Candace
assumption
was
there?
one of the tweakers.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be something.
Plot twist.
Yeah.
He's the one that kept
Well,
trying
I
to
ain't
touch Kate.
saying nothing.
He's the one that kept trying to touch Kate.
Yeah, well, I think we covered the whole episode. So, do you guys want to jump into some predictions?
Yes.
Yes, perfect time for predictions.
Uh-oh.
And now, your AfterBuzz
Don't worry,
TV
the UFO doesn't come in.
I get so scared of aliens. So every time I hear this, I'm like,
So you're okay with blood, but you're scared of aliens.
yes.
Right?
You can like
Okay.
literally slit someone's throat in front of me, and I'm like,
Happens.
oh, but
Oh.
not the Achilles tendon. Don't
Okay.
let me see that. I just freak.
Okay, well, so in the next episode, we see that BitScan data recovery, they're in trouble because we've got the gang trying to come in, get that phone back, I'm assuming.
And I think he's after Teresa.
you're
He wants
stuck on
Teresa
that.
back.
All right.
There's something going on with Teresa and Xander and Trey,
I
and he
got
wants
short-term
her
memory.
back
I'm
so
sure you do.
badly.
What else do you guys think is gonna happen?
I think that, sadly, I think Leanne's gonna die, who's Teresa's mom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I feel like the ultimate mom sacrifice is to say, don't let them in. And
I'm
It'll
worried
be
about
hard.
Susie too.
Susie, yeah.
Just because she's a good person, and sometimes the good people just,
Don't make it.
yeah.
They don't. Sometimes,
Some of us ain't gonna make it.
sometimes the nice guy does finish last.
You guys are
Sometimes.
expecting me to say it instead of
in
me.
this situation, the nice guy finishes last. The one who takes everyone else's feelings into consideration before survival, they finish last. And it's always just,
Yeah.
that's how it is. Because
Yeah.
But I think Jake might get there in time. Or I feel like with the phone call that Jana calls Lex, it might be enough to get him to jump the wall.
Yeah, Lex is
Him to
gonna
be
go
the
in
next
there.
person to
yes, I think
That
he's
Go
would be
in.
gonna.
fun.
Yeah,
Now
we're gonna
gonna
learn more
now
about
we're gonna see
Trey,
acts,
too.
now we're gonna see acts of love.
All
I
right.
know. I
you
think.
know.
I don't get to predict anything.
You're good. You're good.
No, absolutely not.
It's because I said he's a bad guy, isn't it?
They have it in you, homie.
Hashtag Trey. Team
No,
Trey.
no, hey,
There
I'm-
it is.
hey,
Team
I'm-
T.
I'm-
Go
hey,
for the T,
I'm
yo,
Team
boy.
Jake. I'm Team Jake,
What?
and I think he's gonna lay down the law
I
in the
thought we
next
was
episode.
close. Oh, we
I
not
thought
close.
so too, until you told me you were a
Team
Clipper
Trey,
fan.
homeboy.
No.
TT. Next
Anyway.
time I'm rocking the hat. Straight TT on you.
All right. all
Okay,
right.
TJ, go ahead.
No, you know what? I do think that Leanne, Dennis, and Tony, I think they're all not gonna make it out of there.
He has killed off so many
Yeah.
people. He's like, you're dead, you're dead, you're done, you're gone.
Hey, I'm coming after Lammers. That's what I'm waiting for.
Hey,
you
you
know
know what?
that shit. Hey, Claudia Black already knows she's #1 on my list not to make it. I said that in
I
the,
just gonna
our
jump
first
over the wall and
episode.
get to it.
You know what? But I think that collateral damage, and I think BitScan is probably not gonna be. it's going to be compromised. They're going to be done there. And I think Jana and all of them, whoever survives, they're going to have to go out there, probably back to the hospital with Katie by the time this episode's over. But that is no longer a safe place, regardless if they drive all of them out.
Yeah, I think that could happen. And I think we're going to get a little bit of backstory on Trey as well, which I'm looking forward to.
And everything I said will be
Find out why he wants Teresa back so bad.
Everything I said will be justified.
Give
And then
me
everyone
a,
will
give
be
me a
Team Trey.
chick. That's what I'm talking about.
So,
Or just take one.
yeah. So until next week, where can everybody find you, Tiana?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Tiana Hobson.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and at Sports and Sass.
What's up, guys? Hashtag become the future for our lovely guest over here. You can find me all the time to talk containment at Double G on TV.
And Mykel, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We had such a fun time with you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
And where can everybody find you on Twitter and keep up with all things that are going on? With you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter on Mykel_Jenkins at Mykel_Jenkins, and I'm gonna throw up that Team Trey.
Team Trey.
As soon as I get
All
home,
right.
at Team Trey.
I'm gonna get that trending.
Gotta get that banging. If ain't nobody got it already.
Yes, I love it. So hashtag Team Trey, and you guys can find me on Twitter at Katie Campbell. That's Katie with 3 E's Campbell. Instagram at Katie Campbell 13 and YouTube.com/Katie Campbell online. And until next week, tweet us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Adios.
Team Trey.
Team Trey. Hashtag Team Trey.
Love it.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.